pjnet.tv. It is 9:32. Sorry for the wait, but I promise it's worth it. Our bumper is running, we are streaming, the chat room's waiting, and our guest is waiting as well. Without delay, count it down. Studio 14. Well, good evening. Welcome to pjnet.tv. Hold on, I've got a book in front of me, and let me put it behind me. Okay, there, that's better. See, so when I go over here, the book's behind me. The return of Michelle Medlock Adams is just but moments away, and she is standing by. By the way, we're having some technical problems. That's why we're a minute or two late. Michelle cannot hear me except that she's got me on speakerphone. So you probably hear an echo, or I do. But we'll just, Michelle, what you have to say is so important. We will put up with anything to hear it. You're not home.
No, I'm in Houston with my buddy Cecil Stokes and his son Boone. You've had them on the show before.
I've met Cecil at one of the conferences. Now,
Yes.
when I found out that you were spending time with Cecil, that fueled rumors that you and him are working on some movie production, maybe.
Well, that may be in the future, maybe. We have a book coming out together, Cecil and I
didn't
this
know
summer.
that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we do. It's called I Love You to the Sun and Beyond. And it's with Sky Pony, which is a division of Simon & Schuster. We wrote this, and we were trying to decide if it was 2017 or 2018. But it's been a few years ago, and it sold, and it was supposed to come out last year, but due to the pandemic and shipping things, I don't know. They just said, hey, we're going to actually bring it out July the 5th. So it comes out in just a couple of months. We're super excited. And it's my first, I guess, it's not like it's non-Christian, but it's not just specifically CBA market. And it's going to be great, I think, in the schools. What we're doing is we're kind of comparing things like it's a parent and a child going back and forth and saying, I love you more than, and it's, I love you deeper than, and it's all these natural wonders or, real places, real things. So and then there's back matter with all of the explanation about all these things, like the fastest shark or the smallest insect or the deepest part of the sea. So it's educational and fun. And we had a great time writing it. So this week, the reason I flew here I was in Dallas at several events, is that our editor there asked if we had a Christian version of this, because we had pitched that a couple of years ago when we turned this in, and she remembered. So that right there is just such a great sign that maybe she really wants it. So we were like, yes, we have that. We didn't finish it, but we will finish it. So we did. We were such a blessed working week. I got here Sunday night, and we've worked, several hours every day, like a lot of hours on Monday. And we prayed over it every day. And then today we were able to hit the send button. So it is finally done. I know it's been a whirlwind. I'm exhausted, Coach. It's been a whirlwind trip, but so productive. And then today, Cecil had a meeting for his other job that he has. Mm-hmm. And so Boone and I went to the mall and went to Barnes & Noble, and we shopped a little bit. So it's been a really fun day.
And you spotted some of your books at the mall, didn't you?
Yes, that was so fun. So it's always fun whenever you go to a bookstore and find any of your books. They had three of mine, and a lot of my friends' books too. So that was fun. But I asked if they had mine and Andy's book, Springtime for Your Spirit, because if they don't have your book and you ask for it, sometimes they'll order it. Mm-hmm. And so I was trying that whole tactic. And then I said, well, actually, I'm one of the authors. And the guy smiled and he said, I thought maybe you were. And I said, yeah. I wasn't too coy about it, apparently, Coach. But anyway, he said, let me see if we have any of your books. And I guess I walked off because Boone wanted to show me some. They came back and I said, do you have any of my books? He said, actually, we do. And so he pulled them up and I went to find them. And then the manager came and found me and said, would you sign those? And I said, well, yeah. So we had a little impromptu book signing. It was really fun kind of afternoon. Not something I really planned on. But I mean, if they ask you to sign a book, you have to sign it, right? So
I'm sure you resisted.
It was nice. And Boone found some books that he liked. And then we went to the Lego store, which I'd never been to a Lego store. So I was introduced to the world of Legos and got a present for Boone, a belated Christmas present, because I haven't been with them since. And then we had Chick-fil-A for lunch and headed home. So it's pretty much been a perfect day. It was 80 like one here, sunny, beautiful. It rained this morning, but this afternoon, gorgeous. Love this weather.
So if I went to a bookstore, as you did, and claimed to be the author of one of the books there, you mean to tell me they would just take my word for it?
You know what? You have a pretty honest face, so yeah, probably.
If I were the manager, I would want to see some ID.
Well, my picture's on the back of a lot of them, so
Oh.
I can just hold it up, and that got me out of a pinch once in Los Angeles at the airport. My wallet was stolen when I was visiting my daughter Allie, who was in school there at the time, so I didn't have any government issued ID to get home. So they told me to get there early and kind of just pray that I'd get through. So I get up there and I didn't have a picture to show, but I had one of my books with me that had my picture on the back. I said, "See, it's me." The only problem is my name is not really Michelle Medlock Adams. That's my pen name. Medlock is my maiden name. My middle name is not Medlock.
Right.
So
Well,
it didn't help me at all.
That's not uncommon, That.
So there you go. So tell me what's going on with you guys. I feel like
Well-
I've been gone a year.
Well, you lost your identification, but I had a kind of similar experience not long ago. My wife lost a credit card,
Oh.
and she told me, and I said, "I'll take care of it." So I did nothing, because whoever found that credit card spends less than she does.
My husband might feel the same on that, especially having been gone a week in Texas. Oh my!
Yeah.
I hope I'm not in trouble when I get home. But it was mostly business expenses. Coach, one of the things I got to do while I was out here, I don't know if you saw my post, but I was asked when we were at NRB, that National Religious Broadcasters Convention down in Nashville a couple weeks ago. A fellow Hoosier Hoosiers are good people, right? His name is Todd. He came to the booth and we just began to share about God and what he was doing and stuff. And anyway, long story short, he invited me to this VIP luncheon in Dallas. And I prayed about it. Jeff and I prayed about it. So my sister and I prayed about it. Felt like I was supposed to go. I didn't want to go by myself. Jeff couldn't go. And Victoria Duerstock, I said, "I think you're supposed to go with me." She was like, "Well, I don't know if I can go." I'm like, "I think you're supposed to, though. Could you pray about it? Could you please go?" Anyway, she went with me. So we had a great time. But we got to go to the Jerusalem prayer breakfast. And that was, that was amazing. I've never been to something quite that special. It was just, at one point, Vicky leaned over and she goes, "I really feel like this is how heaven will be." And I have to agree. I felt like that too. It was just, everybody was a united worship, just hands raised. And, it was just amazing. And we were supposed to, as Christians, pray for Jerusalem, right? And bless the Jewish people. And so there was just a lot of love in that room. And the people that we'd been with the day before at the luncheon, they were all there at the table. And I can't tell you, I don't think I'll forget about that for a long, long time. That was something that my heart changed in that. It was just amazing.
Did I see that you just signed yet another contract?
Yes, it's this is a book that's been a long time in the making. I wrote it as part of my What Is series for Worthy Kids. What is Christmas, what is Easter, what is Thanksgiving, all those. And it was going to be called What Is Family. And then a friend of mine, Annette Griffin, wrote a book, What Is Family, a precious book that in fact, it's my daughter Allison, her little girl Ren, my granddaughter Ren. It's her favorite book. Not any of my books. Annette Griffin's book, What Is Family, is her favorite book. She loves it. It is a great book. I just couldn't do the same title of that book, even though mine's completely different. So it's just been on hold for a bit. But now it's coming out and it's called Love Connects Us All. Kyle came up with that title because that's one of the lines in the book. And it's been on my heart to do for a long time, Coach, because, the important thing for children is to see themselves in our books. We want them to see books are to empower them and make them look at life a little differently and to encourage them and to, somehow give them a lesson without them knowing they're getting a lesson. You sneak it in and to entertain sometimes as well. But this book, I wanted kids to see themselves in the pages of all kinds of families. And, not all families look alike. A lot of grandparents are raising kids these days. And sometimes due to divorce or death or whatever, just one parent is raising a child. or there's a lot of adopted, like the house I'm in with Cecil and Boone. Cecil adopted Boone about 8 years ago, and he's a single dad. So not every family is a husband, wife, and 2.5 kids and a dog in the backyard. That's not our reality anymore. So that's what this book addresses. That what defines family? Well, really just love between the people in that family, and that they have committed to each other to stay together. And so that is what this book is about. And I love connects us all. That's really how I feel. My daughter Abby, she's married to Micah, my son-in-law, and his family. They are really fine people, and they adopted 3 little boys. Now they're Jeff's and my age, and they have older children. They've got 4 they're older, right? Like in their 20s. And then they have 3 little boys. I think the oldest is now 9, and I think the youngest might be 6. But they've had them since the youngest one was a baby. So, I mean, I'm telling you, like, I babysit for my grandkids, and I'm exhausted when it's all done. I don't know how they do it, but they just felt God called them to foster, to adopt, and they've adopted these 3 little boys. 2 are brothers, and 1 is not, but they're all brothers now. And so it's, there's a lot of that in our family, an extended family, and I just want people to find themselves in this book and know that family can be whatever you want it to be.
I was trying to remember when you were saying love is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you remember that song by Petulia Clark? That's My Love is Brighter Than the Morning Sunshine, Softer Than a Sigh? I guess not. You're not old enough. You're not old enough to know that song, Michelle.
Sounds like a good one, though.
I used to sing that to my daughter, and tomorrow is her birthday, so I'm going to send her a text with a link to that video and just say, "Remember this," because those were some.
That is precious. Happy early birthday to her! I got to meet her at one of the conferences. She's a dandy.
Yeah. So you're going back to the home place in Indiana tomorrow?
I do. I fly out at 8 o'clock in the morning. So
You think so, huh? Have you checked the weather?
It's okay here. I'm not sure in Indiana. I think the storms blew through Indiana today.
Yeah.
So we should be okay. It's not going to be quite as warm when I get there, but Jeff is hoping I come home. I just talked to him. He's like, well, I was wondering when you were coming home, because I was originally supposed to come home on Monday, but we just needed a couple extra days to get this all working together. And it's tax season. So honestly, Coach, I'm not sure Jeff would even know I wasn't there if, unless
you could probably charter a fishing boat, and go fishing. Texas has great fishing.
I would love that. We lived in Fort Worth for a long time, right on Eagle Mountain Lake. I mean, we weren't lakefront, but we were across the street from the lake, and that was good fishing there. And it's just that perfect time of year. This is the time of year that's really hard not to just blow off all responsibilities and go fishing, because it's, the spring bite's good and the weather's getting warmer, and I'm itching to get out there, and so is Jeff. But he's not quite through a tax season. We're almost there.
Yeah. Well, I never know when Easter is precisely, but it's coming.
April 17th.
You wrote the book on Easter.
I've got several books. Yeah. What is Easter is the one that continues to sell. And, I posted this testimony on my Facebook page, and I don't know if you saw it. It's been up there a couple of weeks because I was so blessed. I went into our Walmart in Bedford, Indiana, and there was my What is Easter book again. And people will tag me in it all the time. Shannon Cook, a friend of mine who's an author now with Ren and Bear Books, she saw it in her Walmart, and she took a picture of it. And every time I go into Walmart, if I'm traveling, I look, and it's usually there. It's also in Target. It's been in Sam's and Costco, and it's been in Meijer stores and TJ Maxx. That book has been around for a long time. It's one of my very first books. I wrote that when I lived in Texas, and I worked for Kenneth Copeland Ministries in their features department. I wrote features for the magazine. Anyway, I was on lunch break, and I went down to the chapel. Oftentimes people go down there to pray, and I would just go down there sometimes just to sit and just to hear from God. If I'd eat a protein bar before I went in, and just kind of sit there. And that day, it was like God just downloaded the story to me. And I know that sounds like super spiritual, but truly that's what happened. I mean, I'd been working there for less than a year. It was my first Easter with them. And I said Happy Easter to one of my coworkers, and she kind of scolded me, and she said, we don't say that here. We say Happy Resurrection Day. And I said, well, that's a lot for a little kid to say, don't you think? I mean, that's a mouthful, resurrection. even though what she said was accurate. What she was saying is Easter is what the pagans celebrate. We celebrate the resurrection of Christ. Well, I did too, but I still said Easter. I didn't know that made me a heathen, but I kind of felt convicted, right? So I was like, well, whatever. Well, I'm kind of sassy sometimes, Coach. So I was talking to God about it. I'm like, I don't think that you have to just choose, Easter bunny or Jesus rising out of the grave and celebrating that. I don't think you have to choose one or the other. I think you can celebrate both. So that What is Easter was kind of birthed out of that need. I felt other parents that might be in my shoes who wanted to do Easter egg hunts with their kids and give them Easter baskets and put fun things in there. I mean, I always put Bible stories and things like that in there and chocolate and fun things like that. But I didn't think you had to do either or. But of course, I wanted my kids to know the real reason for Easter, the same way I wanted them to know the real reason for Christmas, which is why I wrote What is Christmas. But that What is Easter book started that entire series, and I had no idea the plans God had for that. So that has been out. I mean, it came out, the first version of it, I believe I was checking, was like 2003. So it's almost 20 years, Coach, that book has been out and selling every single year. Only God can do that. You write it in a lunch hour because he gives you an idea and pretty much downloads it. I wrote it all that lunch hour and then turned it in, and they published it, and it continues to sell. I'm so grateful. I'm just so grateful. So I share that because, not to say, oh, yay, Michelle, but if God's given you a story or an idea or an invention or something, go with it, go for it, go ahead and work it. He gives you the natural ability, but he adds his super to it. And then you can have a book in print for 20 years. It's still selling at Walmart. That is the hand of God. So I'm very grateful and excited to see what God can do with future books. But boy, that one's been a good one for us.
That is not your only Easter book, and I could just stop there, but let me try to embarrass myself. Isn't there something about a donkey or something?
Yes, that's right. Little Colt's Palm Sunday, which is, it was the retelling of the story from the donkey's perspective of what happened that day when Jesus rode him, because he was nervous. He was the first time he'd ever been ridden, right? And it was really a sweet story. It's been around for a long time too. And in fact, when Josie Seiler wrote Howie's Broken Hee Haw, in her comp titles, when you turn in the to the publisher, she used my book as one of the comp titles, and I told her I liked her book even better. But it's a sweet little story about the donkey. But if you're going to buy a donkey book, buy hers. It's so good. Howie's it's just my favorite. I just love Howie. If you've read her book, you couldn't help but fall in love with it.
Yeah, I'm not a big children's book reader, Michelle, but that book got a lot of attention, I know, when it launched. And,
Howie's Broken Hee Haw's precious.
Yeah, it was good. Now, I wonder if you did a sequel to the donkey thing from the perspective of the rocks, because you will recall when the officials saw all the people celebrating Jesus' arrival, they said, well, what's up with that? And somebody said, if they do not worship him, the very rocks themselves will. So I'm wondering if the rocks were saying, hey, y'all quit worshiping, we'd like to worship Jesus too.
Coach, I think that's kind of a neat idea. I believe you're onto something. I'm not teasing. I think that'll preach. I like it.
Well, put it to words.
I like it. That's kind of cute. And I think you could sell it with like a pet rock or something. That could be like a companion thing.
Yeah. Free rock with your book.
That's right. Not a bad idea. I actually like that.
Yeah. Here, download your free rock from my website. You can download your free rock.
Oh my goodness. So, well, ideas come from all kinds of places. That was good. I like that.
So, your life is almost as complicated now as before COVID. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes, it is. But it's better because it's in all this craziness. It finally hit me this weekend when I was in Dallas. It all makes sense. It all goes together. I'm not sure if anybody else could see that, but boy, I can see it. How God is weaving this tapestry of my life right now, and I've had to say no to some things. And I don't know how many of our viewers know, but Bethany Jett and I had to close Platinum Literary this year. It's been a great run, about 6 years that we had that, where we helped other authors and speakers do their books. But with Ren and Bear, my new imprint, children's book imprint with Endgame Press, and my responsibilities with Victoria Duerstock at Endgame, and then Bethany and Kyle really taking serious writer to another level, and their plans. We just couldn't do it all, and it was a real hard decision. But
Yeah.
we had to say goodbye to that, and so I'm having to close some doors, but God's opening up some
Well,
bigger doors that I can't talk about them yet, but just hold on. God is doing some amazing things.
I think I know one of the amazing things, but at risk of letting the genie out of the bottle, I won't mention it. But I remember all the buzz when your book, Platinum Faith, you and Bethany had written. There was so much buzz around that book. And I did not know you had closed Platinum Lit. But when you said that, I thought, well, that was the season.
It was.
And in the Christian walk, there are assignments, there are seasons, and then there are lifelong commitments. And we need to know if it's a season to let that season trend. You know, we're in a new season of spring. Well, that means winter is over. We don't need to hold on to winter. And you know what? As good as spring is, it will soon be over. And summer. So, folks, if you are struggling with what God is doing in your life, perhaps what you were on was a seasonal assignment, and that season is over. But that's hard to do. I'm not a quitter.
Me either. Me either, Coach. I get that. I'm loyal to a fault almost, and I don't walk away from things or people easily. It's hard for me, but it's funny. God knows us, and He loves us, and He made us, so He knows how we're wired. And to prepare me for this, Susan Bowers, who's an author, she's a speaker, she's an amazing woman of God. I've only met her 2 times, I guess. She was a client of Platinum Literaries, and we had a couple coaching sessions with her. And after our first coaching session with Susan, she sent an email to both Bethany and myself where she walks in the office of the prophet. She gets words of knowledge, and she's really accurate. And she had a paragraph for each of us. And I remember when I read through my paragraph, I thought, my goodness, this woman actually, like, how could she know this stuff? But one of the lines that she said was, you're going to have to say goodbye to some things and let go of some things, and you're going to go kicking and screaming. But as soon as you get in line with what God has, you're going to love it. And I thought, okay, well, I don't really like to say goodbye to things. I don't like change very much, but that is exactly what's happened. And then this weekend, one of my dear friends who I interviewed on the Trinity Broadcasting Network, his name is Stan Levins. He's a great man of God. Well, if you've ever heard Stan preach or been around him, you've been blessed. He's just that guy. And he spoke a word to me, and he said, God is a new season, exactly what you just said, Coach. And He's doing a new alignment for a new assignment. Alignment for an assignment. And I thought, yep, okay, I'm all in. Because, bottom line, we don't like to say goodbye to things and seasons, but if God's in it and he's kind of leading you down that path to go to the next season, then it's going to be good. And if you're serving Him, it's always joyful. I mean, it's exciting. Not that it's always easy, but it's exciting walk of faith. So I'm encouraged about this season. But you're right. I don't leave easily, and I did go kicking and screaming. She was exactly right on that.
You mentioned in-game press, and I'm not an expert on these matters, but I am impressed with the start that Victoria Duerstock. I mean, she came out of the gates. It's like she was a wound-up spring that boom.
She is a woman of excellence, and I respect her as my sister in Christ, and I love her as a friend. But we have just been, even the both of us together have been growing leaps and bounds in our walks with God, and just, Vicki and I are different in the respect that she's a planner. I mean, it's good because one of us really has to be, but she's a planner, and she does all the homework and then some. And if there's a manual to read, she will have read it twice and probably written a report on it. And I'm going to skim it. Like, we're just wired differently. And I'm kind of a wing it person, and she's never winged anything in her life. And so it's a really good balance, but it's really hard when God is asking you to step through doors and you're like, okay, well, that doesn't make any sense on paper. None of that makes sense. And yet, it's the right decision. Sometimes if you're a planner, that's difficult. But this is the thing I love about Victoria. She is all in with God. And I've known her for a while. I mean, I've watched her walk, and that's why it was so easy to say yes to anything she asked me to do. It's just yes for me, because we have the same heart. If it doesn't have kingdom significance, I just don't want to do it right now. I feel like our time is short. I feel like Jesus is going to return soon, and I want to take as many people with us as we can. So we are doing everything we can, and every decision that is made, I can tell you, it's made with that heart. It has to have kingdom significance, and I don't think I'm speaking out of turn saying that that's her heart too, because that's just who she is. And you're right, Coach. She's doing amazing things with Endgame. I mean, I think every single book has won more than one award at this point, nominated for Marcela's, and I mean, her very first book that they did, Nancy Sanders' book, with the little cute bedtime with mommy book, Choice Books picked it up, and it was in the airport this week. I mean, that's phenomenal. That's God.
That's what you call a book taking off. When you get home, Sisters 2 is back in business. What are you going to do after you get through this study?
When I get through with what?
With the study that you're on in Sisters 2.
You know, I'm not exactly sure, but Marty and I have been talking about it, and she and I are doing a book together. We haven't told anyone, so I'm telling y'all.
Nobody's listening. Don't worry.
God gave us a book right after her husband passed, and we've been. So we might be teaching from what we're going to be writing, because that's sometimes how you really get it in your heart. But it's some good stuff, and it's for right now.
I remember you and her took a little girls trip.
Yes.
Is that when y'all hatched this idea?
We love to take little girl trips, and we're probably going to take another one. Not like I have to go home for a few weeks. We're probably going to take another one sometime.
Yeah, wash
soon.
your laundry.
I mean, I like to see my husband and my dogs and feed the birds and squirrels and stuff, and I miss my grandkids. So but I'll be going home tomorrow, and Marty and I have been talking about. We like to go down and see her best friend Dana. Remember, we taped one show at Dana's house when we were down in Alabama.
Yeah, I was going to say Alabama.
Yeah,
somewhere down south. Well, It's beautiful down here. This is God's country, and I know you love Indiana, but I don't know why. You probably have told me, but I didn't get it then. I wouldn't get it if you told me again. So, and
that's okay.
When you see the Cuidados down here in Florida, maybe you wonder why I love Florida, but
yes, I don't want anything to do with those Cuidados. Not a thing.
Not a thing. Well, Michelle, it's great to have you back. It's been a while, and we look forward to seeing you. Basically, what is it? What is it? Let me get this right. Looking at the calendar. Well, that's kind of weird. Today's the 5th Wednesday. Nobody's scheduled for the 5th of any month, but anyway, we look forward to whenever you're in next month.
Sometime next month.
Probably toward the end of next month sometime. Okay. I don't know.
Hopefully I'll be home before I can get this worked out. I'm sorry about the technological stuff going on here.
Yes, folks, Michelle has yet another new iPhone.
I keep breaking them. I don't know.
You finally got the last one working, and then now you got a new one.
I know. It's my fault. I know.
Yeah, I'm going to be getting an iPhone 11 probably this year, because my iPhone 6 is really starting to show evidence that that season might be over.
I'm pretty sure that's almost like a museum-worthy dinosaur at this point, a 6. So.
Yep, they'll let me trade it in though. But an iPhone 11 is like $400. Oh. It used to be $1,000. It's like I'll just wait till they go down.
That's good. I had some kind of credit. That's how I was able to get mine. Yeah, we bought insurance. I don't know, but this is good.
I've got my heart set on a 2022 Ford F-250.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
I figure I'll get it in 2035.
Well, I'm going to believe for you to get a little earlier than that, but yes.
Yeah. I don't know which is going to die first, me or the truck, but anyway. Well, Michelle, thanks. I know you're busy and you've taken some time out. I know that you're enjoying your time. Cecil and Boone are just a story in and by themselves.
They are.
I have never seen a father so connected to a son.
I'd have to agree.
When you name your company Boone, Me and Boone or something, what is it?
Boone and Me, yeah,
Boone
you're
and
right.
Me. Yeah.
They're doing big work for the kingdom as well.
Yeah, they are an impressive thing. So tell Cecil hello, and maybe I'll I'll need to draw upon his screenwriting experience at some point if we keep growing here. So maybe that'll happen.
Awesome.
All
I'll
right,
tell
girl.
him.
I
All
appreciate
right.
it,
Thanks for
Michelle.
having me, guys. Good to be back. See y'all.
Good to see you, Michelle. Michelle Medlock Adams, right here on pjnet.tv. Good to have her back, and look forward to seeing her every month. And that'll, well, you know, you can't go wrong with Michelle. Well, what an exciting evening it's been. Let's see what's going on tomorrow night. Let me go to pjnet.tv, and I'm going to click schedule. And there it says tomorrow, a first-time guest. That will be first-time guest number 255, Joy Neal Kidney. And after that, at 9:30 Eastern, another first-time guest number 256, Bobby Frazier. You can always go to our website. And by the way, those names do not just simply appear on the schedule. Barbara, for the most part, makes contact with the guests that appear here and makes the arrangements. And I just am so humbled, remembering it wasn't that long ago that we were doing 2 programs per week. Michelle and Dell. That was it. And it has just grown from that. And I want to be on the most aggressive schedule that we can be on because, you know, I'm getting old. And I don't have time to do a weekly or monthly. You know, if we had 250 guests, that would be 5 years from now, right? So we don't have that kind of time. I don't. Maybe you do. I hope so. But our time is up. Thank you for your long suffering and patience. But I hope it's been worthwhile, and I hope it's been an inspiring time of encouragement. Speaking of encouragement, I encourage you to be bold in Jesus Christ by asking. I ask these questions to myself, so I'll share them with you. What is the boldest thing that you've ever done for Jesus Christ? I got it? All right. Now, how long ago was that? Let's not be satisfied with either answer.